All right, get in here. I'll just make this video right away. Come on in here. Say what y'all need to say. We're going to talk about this. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can pull up some stories here and see exactly what's going on because I'm looking at the New York Post here and it's saying Hulk Hogan, WWE legend, dead at 71. Hulk Hogan, one of the most popular professional wrestlers of all time who helped make WWE a juggernaut, has died, according to TMZ. And that is all that it says. All that it says. That's it. It don't say nothing else. It don't say nothing else. Now I'm going to go over to TMZ right now. And I'm gonna see if TMZ has any let me see here. It says here on TMZ, Hulk Hogan dead at 71. Let me see here. Wrestling legend Hulk Hogan has died at 71 years old. TMZ Sports has learned medics were dispatched to 71-year-old Hulk Hogan's Clearwater, Florida home early Thursday morning, with operators stating it was regarding cardiac arrest. Okay, so this is a little bit more details. We're told a slew of police cars and EMTs were parked outside Hogan's home. The icon was carried on a stretcher and into the ambulance. Just a few weeks ago, Hogan's wife Sky denied rumors that he was in a coma, stating his heart was strong as he recovered from surgeries. We broke the story last month. There were rumblings Hogan was on his deathbed, but we were told at the time that he was just dealing with the symptoms of a neck procedure he underwent in May. I saw something yesterday and the day before that said that Jimmy Hart said he couldn't talk, like his vocal cords were damaged or something with some procedure that he had done. Hulk transformed the professor. It makes me wonder if that's why he died. A lot surgeries take tolls on people. A lot of people do pass because of surgeries. Hulk Hogan transformed professional wrestling into a family entertainment sport. Before Hulk wrestling catered to the fairly narrow audience, Hulk's theatrics in the ring were magnetic for children and their parents, and it supercharged the sport. In 1996, Hulk transformed himself from hero to villain by creating the new world order, the biggest icon in wrestling, New World Order, and became Hollywood Hulk Hogan and propelled him in professional wrestling to even more fame. Hulk was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2005. He was removed in 2015 after a scandal erupted over racist comments while he was being secretly recorded during an encounter. Gawker posted the clip, and Hulk subsequently sued, winning the lawsuit. Oh, I didn't know he won that. Hulk was inducted a second time in the WWE in 2020, this time as a member of the NWO. Okay. Hulk was the star of the 2024 Republican National Convention when he set the room ablaze with theatrics. Hulk had an amazing, successful movie career beginning in 1982. Amazingly successful. I think they're going a little far with that, but beginning in 1982 with Rocky III, playing an iconic character, Thunder Lips, the ultimate male versus the ultimate meatball. He also starred in No Holds Barred with Zeus. Oh, Hogan! Oh, Suburban Commando, and Mr. Nanny. There's more Hogan starred in. The VH1 hit reality show Hogan's Knows Best with his family, Linda, Nick, and Brooke. That's what's amazing about Hulk. He had scores of surgery as a result of wrestling injuries. He told Harvey during a taping of Objectified he had no original body parts left. Jeez. That means he was probably having different, he had knees and hips replaced and shoulders probably. The last time we spoke with Hulk was back in May as he was launching Real American Freestyle and Amateur Wrestling League. The first event is August 30th on Fox Nation. Story developing. Rest in peace. So that is what TMZ News has to say, y'all. So y'all already know I'm a huge wrestling fan. I grew up with Hogan. That rhymed with play the game bars. My first weight set was the Hulk Hogan workout set. It came with a tape, and it came with two like 3-pound dumbbells for little kids. And I think it had wristbands and headband. And me and my brother, we had saved up our money. We broke the piggy bank literally and went to Kitty City. This was similar to Toys R Us. Kitty City we went to and bought with our own money and came home, put in the tape, and started working out, man. And I always remember this. Me and my brother started laughing because he was telling us to like run in place or something like that. And he was like, if you quit on me, I'll body slam you, man. Or something like that. Body slam you, dude, brother. So he was my first, wrestling hero. He was my first wrestling hero. My second wrestling hero was Ultimate Warrior. But he was my first, man. And being a wrestling fan, WWF, back then, he was wrestling. He really was. He was the guy that carried the company on his back. I got older, and like a lot of guys, you get into wrestling, you fall out, you get in, you fall out. You know what I mean? And I know he had left. I knew there was the scandal with him and Vince and stuff, and he had gone to WCW. And I, growing up, didn't care for WCW. Something about them was boring to me. I remember I had a buddy that really liked the WCW, and he told me, and this was when we were kids. I was like, WCW? I was like, why do you watch that? He said, I like it because it's more real. I remember he told me that because a lot of the kids would be like, man, it's the show with the regular guys. Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, those are just regular dudes. You know what I'm saying? We wanted the larger than life characters. Hulk Hogan, you know what I mean? The Ultimate Warrior, Ravishing Rick Rude, Roddy Piper, Jake the Snake Roberts, the $1 Million Man. You know what I'm saying? We like that larger than lifeness about it, So I had no interest in watching any WCW. Then, of course, all the rumors came out. Yo, Hulk Hogan's bad now. We talking about he's bad. Yeah, he wears black. He's got like this black beard now, and he's with this group, man. Like what? I'm like, what? So I start checking WCW out. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. This is crazy because he had kind of become corny at that time. Never as corny as John Cena, though. Never as corny as John Cena. He never dipped to those levels. But he was, he becomes stale. He become kind of corny. Things weren't working. And with this new look and this new facade and everything, I was like, this is getting good. You know what I'm saying? Then, of course, WCW, folds. McMahon buys it. Brings him in. And at the time, I still wasn't really jumping for joy. You know what I'm saying? When they brought him into WWF. When he had that match with The Rock, I realized as a fan where my deep rooted allegiances lied. This is where the power lies here, man. Like when they locked up and Hogan pushed him and did the and he did it again. I was like, yeah. And at the time, you couldn't tell me ish. The Rock was the man, wasn't nobody better. To me, he was better than Stone Cold by a little. He was better than Goldberg by a little, because Stone Cold Goldberg was big time with me. And I'm like, yo, I'm rooting for Hogan. My hero's back. It was so weird how I switched from rooting for The Rock to Hogan. It was like, I don't know. It was like, I don't know how to really think about it, you know? Like, maybe you had your father in your life for only a few years, but, you know, he left a great impression on you. Then he left or became a bum, and then you see him one day and you see him like just climbing that mountain, and all of a sudden he's your hero again. It was like, it was crazy. It was different. And I was just like, yo, this is amazing. And, you know, he had a real good run after that. And I remember even seeing Flair in the interview, and he was like, as much as I hate to admit it, for those that were doubting the Hulk Hogan, they found out at WrestleMania 18, I think it was 18, right? And a few cities after that, Hulk is the man. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yeah. It's like, if you doubted it, that Hulk was the man, you know what I'm saying? As far as the business went, as far as that character went, you found out. If you just wanted to say, like, you know, nah, he wasn't nothing, it's like you couldn't argue with what happened there. No one expected that. I don't know if there was one fan that expected that type of turn from the fans and that resurgence, that reemergence of Hulkamania again. So, and then we know after that, went to TNA, and I wasn't watching him at TNA. I wasn't watching nothing at TNA and nothing else that he did. You know what I'm saying? After that. Yo, Tyrone, are you more of a Flair fan or a Stone Cold? That's hard. That's hard one, man. I don't know. AEW is like my probably a little bit more Stone Cold, just by a little though. So now where all that turned on its head, of course, is when that tape came out. I mean, I'm a little black kid that grew up to be a black man and who held this dude in such high esteem, you know, in high regards, you know, one of my heroes as a kid. And to hear him say that stuff that he said, that's the worst. That's the worst. Something like this is bittersweet for me because there's the character, then there's the man. You know what I'm saying? And it's real life. It's real life. It's what life is. Is sometimes you want to meet your heroes and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you want to find out who they really are and sometimes you don't. And he may have apologized. I heard that he went to the locker room, but he never specifically said sorry to the locker room about that. It was kind of like watch what you say. You never know if you were being recorded type of thing. You know, many people say that whenever he did issue whatever type of apology that he did, it's like, you're not sorry, you're sorry you got caught, you know. The way he was talking about us, I was just like, I'm like, this is crazy. You know, I love my people. And for him, I know he had at least a huge black audience too. You know, everyone knew who Hulk Hogan was. Everyone could do some type of impression of Hulk Hogan. You know what I'm saying? There was this guy When I was younger growing up, every time he saw me, he would call me Hulkster. He didn't call me Hulkster, he called me Hawkster. People would call him Hulk Hogan. Even though we knew his name was Hulk, people say Hulk Hogan. I know a lot of y'all remember that when you were kids. People called him Hulk Hogan instead of Hulk Hogan. And, you know, I had somebody tell me, oh, well, yeah, he apologized. And yeah, he found God. And, he's going to church now. And, me knowing the lengths that some stars will go to get their image back, it made me wonder. You know what I'm saying? It made me wonder, did he truly find God? Is he just doing this so people forgive him? I've seen different shoot interviews with guys. Bischoff, Ultimate Warrior, both said he was very insecure in certain ways. And, he cared what people thought of him very much. I personally have always been the type of person, I don't care what you think about me as long as you know the truth. You know the truth and you still got a problem, then whatever. But if you're just believing lies, like you see spread on YouTube or Twitter about me, it's like whatever. If you're just going to believe it, believe it. But it's still a mild irritant. It's just like whatever. You get blocked and you're gone. But I don't like that. Don't lie on me. You know what I'm saying? But as long as you know the truth, I tell the truth in all my videos. So it's like as long as you're watching my videos and I say this, but you believe that, then you know what I mean? Bye. Banned. If you don't believe me, you don't believe me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not like that. Like I don't need people's acceptance. You know what I'm saying? But if I did, then those type of people are the type of people that sell their soul, do anything for the right image. Sign right here on the dotted line, get on your knees for this person, bend over for that person. You know what I'm saying? Like I never wanted to be that. And I don't know if that was him, but from all the stories that I've heard, I've heard good stories about him, but I've heard bad too. And I feel like they're kind of like this. I don't feel like I've heard way more bad than good, but I feel like they're kind of hovering. Through the years, I've just heard really bad stories about him, man, and really good ones. People, I just, it's really hard in a situation like this, so it's just so hard, man. It's like I wish, that he wasn't that type of person and that hadn't to come out because it just totally soils the image, of that hero. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's probably, I don't know if it's the same, but it might be like that for people that, I don't know, they thought they could, they might have looked up to certain bodybuilders and found out, well, kid, they're on steroids. They didn't get it naturally. It might not be the same letdown, but, maybe similar. Has come crashing down and it hurts inside. Yeah, you're right about that, man. It's come crashing down and her. I'm sure let me see, never watched wrestling much, but I did grow up watching Rocky movies and seeing his Rocky cameo. Yeah, his Rocky cameo was great. You saw just how big he was, right? You saw exactly how big he was in that movie. I was like, wow. I always remember that part when Paulie's like, why are they carrying him? And Mick's like, he's walking. Like, yo, you thought they were carrying him? And they're carrying him on a damn throne or something. Like, no, he's walking. That's how big he is. Yeah, so it's so bittersweet. I don't even know what to say. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what to say about someone like this. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like betrayal. It's betrayal. It's like being asked in a way to speak at a best friend's funeral, but who also your wife behind your back and you found out about it. Like, excuse me. It's like you had so many years of fun and camaraderie and friendship and drinks and going places and girls and this and that. And then you find that out. You know what I'm saying? Or just imagine it was your friend. Just imagine any race you are. Your best friend is a different race from you, and then a tape emerges of them trashing your race. Like you're garbage, like you're animals. Could you imagine that, finding that out about your friend, your best friend? You know what I mean? Someone you held in such high regard. You know what I mean? He's the first person that got me to work out. He got me to work out. He got me to want to be strong. You know? He didn't get me to want to take vitamins, but he got me to want to be strong like him, you know? It's just, yeah, yeah. So it is what it is, folks. But I figured I would get on here and let you all know my history with Hulk, how he affected me, what he is, what he was to me, and all that good stuff. And I didn't feel like making a video. I said, I'm going to go live on this. This is arguably the greatest wrestler to ever live. Period, point blank. The most influential wrestler to ever live, period, point blank. It's bittersweet. There's darkness in it. There's good in it. There's a whole amalgamation of feelings that comes with this passing. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty of documentaries and everything else made and stuff to come out. And, it's probably going to be the same with Flair or very similar. And trust me, I've heard the Teddy Long story. I have heard the Teddy Long story, and he definitely seemed like he was telling the truth. I read something one time about the Ultimate Warrior talking about black folk. I was reading some posts from him. I was like, what is this with your heroes and you're hearing this stuff? Just like, it's different when you're seeing a blog from some person. Like, was this really his blog? You in your head, you try to, because you don't want to believe it. And you got Teddy Long looking like he telling the absolute truth about Flair. I remember when Stone Cold got that divorce from Deborah, and she was saying that he didn't allow her to watch black people on TV and this and that. I was like, what? Is that the truth or not? Because look, as a famous white person, one of the worst things that can happen is for you to be labeled a racist. Well, we all know that's if they want to ruin you, they'll lie about you and say you're a racist. Now, some people, they just do it for themselves. Like, he got caught on tape saying a hard ER and then tried to talk to Oprah and talk about, well, everybody said it when I was growing up, No, they said it with a GA, not with an ER. Don't listen, white folk. There is a difference to us about ER and GA. Whether you believe it's correct or not doesn't matter. To the majority of the black community, there is an understanding, whether we even like it or not, because there's plenty of black people that don't say it. Like, you'll only hear me say it comedically. I don't say it in my normal life. I might crack a joke here or there and say something, but I don't think that it was the right thing for us to take that word that was used to, destroy us mentally. And then, oh yeah, we just gonna say it to now. I don't think that that's right. A lot of black people think it's cool, whatever. I won't argue about it. But there is a difference between GA and GER. Okay. So when you're talking amongst yourselves, they're like, hey, we can't say it, but when they say it, it's okay. No, because it's two different things. Okay. Also, it is mainly it's a black word. Okay. Black folk have claimed it. So if you want to say GA, Don't say it. Err on the side of your safety and do not say N-I. Don't say it. Okay? Eminem don't even say it. And y'all know he's got the black card pass. Y'all know he's invited to the barbecue. Eminem don't even say it. He don't say it. You shouldn't say it. Okay? Right? He knows not to say it. And if anybody could get away with it, it's him. He don't even say it. So there is a difference, and it is what it is. You know, I was watching what is his name? Played Remy in Higher Learning. I always forget his name. But he was like, and I always felt funny about this. And he was, you know, like he was talking about how if you're not Jewish, don't call Jewish people Jews. He's like he was saying, like, that's our thing, that's our word. And I've always felt that way, even though no one ever told me. I was like, I feel like I need to say Jewish. Because saying the shortened version always felt slur-ish to me. Slur-ish. You know what I'm saying? And I remember I had a buddy who's half Jewish, and I didn't even know he was. And I just thought he was my white friend. That was it. And I remember there's this situation that went down at the gym between him and this other dude with this girl. So he was like, one dude was messing with the girl at one time, and then my boy started messing with her, right? And he came up to me and he was talking to me, not my boy. My boy wasn't there that day. He was talking to me. He was like, yeah, you know, this and that, you know, and I thought he was really cool for it. And I was like, that was my first encounter with some type of prejudice or racism toward Jewish people. I was like, oh, he said that almost like a slur. Something with that tone made it sound like it was bad to be a Jewish person. Now, you don't understand, growing up, I never heard one bad thing about Jewish people. Ever. And I didn't even know there was a stigma about them. I didn't know about the stereotypes of being cheap and all. I didn't know nothing about it. Maybe I was too sheltered growing up, but I didn't know nothing about it. And I remember when I started to hear this stuff, and I saw a comedian talk about it. He was Jewish and he was like, because we had the stereotype for being cheap, every time me and friends go out, I make sure I tip extra. So I asked him. I asked my boy, I was like, do you do that? He was like, yeah, I do. And I was like, he tips extra because they got the stereotype. Check this out. When I was a waiter, I found out, and it's in my area, it was just true. There's plenty of black people that know how to tip. When I was brought up, I wasn't taught how to tip, and we rarely ever ate out. One time I took a girl on a date to Red Lobster. I tipped the guy. This was before I started waiting tables. When I started waiting tables, I thought back to that day, and I was like, oh my God, I tipped him wrong. There is a stereotype that black people do not tip well, especially black women. And I am sorry to say that I found out that while I was waiting tables, black women ended up being the worst tippers. And I don't know why. I don't know why. I haven't discussed it at the meetings that we all have. I haven't discussed it. I haven't brought it up. I just don't know. Maybe it's because, like I said, I wasn't really taught to tip because, you know, my mom would pay or my granddad would pay when he would take us out to dinner. I was just never taught. No one ever took me aside and say, hey, back then it was 10% or more, 10% satisfactory or more. Nowadays it's 20% if it's satisfactory or more. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So I would say I agree with you. but it depends on the culture you live in. I'm from the Bronx, and it's a common thing here, regardless. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. That's common. But yeah. Yeah, just because it's common doesn't mean it's right, though. Always remember that. Just because something's common doesn't mean it's right. It's common in certain countries for it to be okay to, whoop on your wife. That don't mean it's right just because it's common. You know what I'm saying? So always remember that. Always remember that. Just because something is accepted somewhere doesn't mean it's right. Tyrone Hulk had his faults, as we all do. Prayers to the family. Interested to see how they tribute him on SmackDown. Yeah, probably be a tribute on SmackDown and on Raw. Yeah, probably a tribute on SmackDown and on Raw. Yeah. I mean, this is like he's literally one, like one of the, not capital G, but he's one of the lowercase G's of wrestling. He's one of the gods of wrestling. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, like, if anybody was, come on, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, they call him the immortal. I remember even one time, and I never heard him say it again. He was in a NW doing an NWO promo, and he was like, "I am God." I remember him saying that, and I was like, he went kind of far with that. I never heard him say it again, though. He may have, but I never heard him say it again. And I remember Flair did it one time. He was like, "You're talking to Rick God Flair." I remember him doing that one time. So, yeah, a lot of people are passing. It's weird, ain't it? Kind of weird, right? Yeah, but yeah, legends never die, So it is what it is. He's going at 71, and had to get on here live and talk to all of my subscribers, and see how y'all felt and let y'all know. And yeah, so all right, everybody, try to have a good day, and I will have my Fantastic Four movie review out later. All right. Talk to y'all later. Man, wild day today.